Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television show. And of course, as you know, it's 8 p.m. It's Wednesday, June 10th, 2020, and I'm your host and moderator, Al Ferguson. And welcome, as we're going to have a lot of fun tonight and an entertaining show. So let's, before we move into anything that we're going to talk about tonight, bring you Happening Now, our breaking news. And it's kind of strange because our breaking news tonight is the news. As you know, Happening Out Television Network has been doing a program since January 6th called Q News Tonight. And It's Happening Out would like to thank you, America, because we are reporting tonight directly from YouTube that last week Q News Tonight was watched in YouTube by more than 180,000 people, including a new record for a single episode of 61,370 people watching the June 4th show. The next closest YouTube video watch from a Florida LGBT brand was watched by 3,000, which demonstrates what an incredible accomplishment this is. All LGBTQ fight for visibility, and when one rises, our entire community rises. So we appreciate your continued support. So let's jump right into It's Happening Out. We're going to introduce a special guest host, Dwight Allen O'Neal, in a moment. But let's welcome our regular host tonight, Aaron Phoenix. Hello, Aaron. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm coming at you from the dark side.
Exactly, always the dark side. And our host, Power Infinity.
Hello.
Hello. All right, and here in studio in Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Misty Eyez.
Hi. How's everybody?
Alaska says. And literally, Misty is from Alaska. What did you think I was talking about? And of course, the candidate for mayor of Wilton Manors, Chef Josie. Good evening, Chef.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm back, guys.
All right. And also tonight, we have a special guest host, Dwight Allen O'Neal. With us tonight, he is the star of the first black gay web series called Christopher Street. And he has a new book, a collection of humorous vignettes based on his popular podcast show of the same name, Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda. Love that name. It recounts some of Dwight's biggest missteps in life and reflects all kinds of issues that we want to talk about. So Dwight, good evening to It's Happening Out, and I'll need help with this. I'm frozen. I'm unfrozen. Good evening, Dwight. How are you?
Hi, good evening. Greetings, celebrities and friends. Thank you guys so much for having me, and congratulations on breaking a record. That's incredible.
It's great. And shoulda, coulda, woulda. What a great name is that?
Thank you. It's something my mom used to say to me all the time when I got into trouble. You shoulda, coulda, woulda did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and I love it, especially because it talks about all of the personal mistakes and tragedies, and It's Happening Out. We're probably going to focus on a lot of that tonight, so feel free to share.
Absolutely. Looking forward to sharing.
You're in a safe space here.
Yeah,
safe space.
So
safe space?
Safe space.
Brave.
I thought you were going to point out how we're no stranger to
yes,
yeah. It's Happening Out.
Well, actually, Dwight, I should let you in. Aaron's our shoulda, Power is our coulda, and Josie is our woulda. And so that's how this show is going to work tonight. So good evening again, America. You are watching the world's most popular live gay TV show. So many of your stories we're going to explore next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
Every one of us, every person here, every human life represents a negotiation between.
Is it working now? Is it working now?
As political parades go, it was a little unusual.
We are not a nation that says, don't ask, don't tell.
our new game, Saved by the Bell.
These two guys have come into these areas.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest host, Misty Eyez. With your host, lifestyle expert Napoleon Plays. Reality TV star, Chef Josie. Trans activist, Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva, Power Infinity. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
All right, America, we are back. We are here live. This is a live show, so remember, anything can happen. High degree of difficulty. We're walking across the tightrope here. This is the most popular live gay TV show in the world. And we want to point out that one of the ways that we've been able to accomplish that is like and shares. And we encourage you, start a watch party for us tonight and share It's Happening Out with your friends. It's really easy to do. We've prepared a video on it. Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Okay, so let's have some fun tonight. Let's begin with the meme of the week. Now, I don't know a lot of what we're going to see in this show, as the hosts don't, and we're going to celebrate. We always start our show with the meme of the week. It kind of gives us a pulse of what's going on in the world, and tonight we present our meme of the week. It's about the protest in Hong Kong. Okay, so let's watch this.
Okay.
What's happening?
We'll cover it.
Okay, I remember.
All right, so that's our meme of the week. What did y'all think? Leaf blowers, smoke being blown away, China, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom.
Got to be resourceful.
Necessity is
I
the
need a leaf
greatest
blower.
invention.
I don't do yard work at all, but now I'm like, maybe I need to invest in a leaf blower after all.
That's actually right. I'm curious.
Handy.
I'm curious if any of y'all lived in Hong Kong. Would you be taking up the United Kingdom's offer to move to Britain?
No.
No, you'd stay.
I would
Fight it
definitely
out.
move to England.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Hong Kong has some of the best food around the world, and I don't care if there's a crisis. I would be eating my way through this crisis.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a crisis
Yeah,
here.
the
We're eating
food.
our way through this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The food in Great Britain is not the best. No shade.
Yeah, tell
Oh,
them.
it's not flavored. You're right.
It's like curry
Oh,
and
the food
chips.
sucks.
That's it.
That's all right, honey.
So many
I'd move
things.
and I would move and be saying Black Lives Matter.
Wait, I'm going to cover you there. Let's move out of our meme of the week. And Dwight, I hope you've got some alcohol ready because the show is a lot better if you've got alcohol with you. So you're going to find in a moment, Power's going to get much, much better because of what he's getting ready to drink. We are going to play our game that we bring you every week called I'd Swallow That. You can see in front of me. It's an agree or disagree game where if our hosts agree with the statement question I'm going to ask, they take a shot. You pick up your shot and you take it, and if not, you don't touch it. And we encourage you at home, America, to play right along with us. So everybody understands our rules. Dwight, you're all set to likely drink a lot of shots?
It's a Stargarita, Patron, and a little, juice.
All right, great. All right, so let's go ahead and play I'd swallow that. Let's begin. Question number 1. I'd swallow that. I'm still angry at the world. Oh yeah, I'm going to take that shot. All right. I can't see our host in remote isolation. Did you take the shot? Not Josie didn't. Misty didn't.
You damn well know I did.
Dwight did as well.
What? Oh, the 2 black boys. I wonder why.
Yeah. What's
Aaron,
going on?
did you take
Why?
the shot?
Why? What's going on?
I did not.
Wow. All right.
Wait,
here we
wait,
go.
wait. There's breaking news.
Breaking news.
There's breaking news. We're back to
Happening now.
happening now. Aaron is not angry.
It must be all the downtime.
That
Aaron,
is helping. That is helping a lot. Having that social distance is making all the difference in the world. But I'm trying to channel that passion. It's not anger, really. It's passion.
Positivity.
It's anger for a lot of things, but it's not anger for the world. I still believe that, we're heading towards somewhere better.
wait. So in social isolation,
Your branding has just been fucked up.
yeah. So Aaron, I want to make sure I'm clear. In social isolation, in the fact that you don't have to encounter a human being, you're not as angry as you used to be. Is that what you've said?
It's really, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, come on down here to Fort Lauderdale, and you'll get a heck of a lot angrier.
I miss you guys. I do, really.
I do. Dwight, you are angry. Any particular reason why you want to tell us you're angry?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm a lot less anger this week, but last week I really was. Just in general, I feel that within the Black community in general, I feel as a queer person, my life doesn't always matter. And so for me, I've always had a hesitation as far as even joining the fight of Black Lives Matter, because I get more abuse and bullied by, my own race a lot of times. So a lot of that happened last week. But then the other thing that bothered me was how many people in my life that I didn't realize were so ignorant. And I've been literally all last week on the phone educating friends, families, workers, explaining to them the importance of all Black Lives Mattering, and people not realizing that if you just think of the freaking golden rule, a lot of our problems will be solved. At the end of the day, it's just in one example I saw that was really clear. Someone was saying all lives matter is like your partner saying I love you, and then you're like, oh, but I love everybody. I wish the hell my partner would say that to me. So it's things like that infuriate me right now. So definitely the shot helps.
Yeah, it does help. And in fact, I'm going to move on to the second question, because I think we can incorporate some of this conversation into this kind of theme that we have. So let's move to question number 2. And question number 2 is, I'd swallow that. The past few weeks have shown me a bad side of people that I thought I knew. Now, Josie and Misty have added their shots. Where did you go, Power and Aaron, on that?
I deep-throated it.
Oh, show off.
I hear you're an expert at that, too. Power, tell us why the bad side that you have learned in COVID that you thought you knew already. Tell us about that.
Well, the bad side, of course, has been, to echo what Dwight said, I've just noticed that a lot of people have been very, very ignorant, racially insensitive, if not just straight up racist. And this time that we're going through has really revealed people's, their worst and their best sides. And a lot of people that you thought you knew, a lot of people that you hung with, a lot of people that you kikied with and cackled with, really turned out to be, nothing but Ku Klux Klans. So I really am disappointed in that, but I am encouraged that we have so much diversity coming together to really propel this movement.
Power, it's interesting. I really hate to say this and admit this, but I follow your social media. Something came up into my throat, and you had a post in this last week, since the last time we did It's Happening Out, that really touched me. And I constantly point out to America something that they don't know. Power Infinity has a heart.
Mm-hmm.
He has a heart. And he posted this week a thank you note to people that have stood up for him and the Black community, and that it was heartwarming to him of the people that did do that. What motivated that post, Power? I'm curious.
Because I've been on social media scalping, frying, fricasseeing, and dragging shit out of so many people, and I just thought that, you know, if I can read the dog shit out of people every single day, I should also be able to thank and really give a celebration to the people that are really doing it for me and for my community.
That's very nice. I want to push forward because we're still in this same theme of I'd swallow that to question number 3. And question number 3 is, I'd swallow that. I have hope that positive change is coming.
Absolutely.
I'll take that. No,
Oh, you're trying to get me drunk.
Welcome to the show.
Dwight is the platform. It is the platform.
Oh, Lord. Another show off.
Misty, Josie, you have hope?
Yes, absolutely. I
in
have
all of this.
I have great hope, you guys. In fact, I posted on my social media this morning that 2020 is not the end of the world. 2020 has not ended everything. It has been a moment of quarantine. It has been self-isolation, self-focus. It has been a part of us taking time to reflect on ourselves. It has led us to have the courage to speak up for intolerance. It has given us the courage when these social things came out with Miss Cooper and George Floyd. It's given us the courage to fight back. And this year we have been louder and more vocal. And I do believe that we're speaking up, and the government has no choice but to listen. And I do believe that 2020 is going to be a year of change. And I do think that we are going to see bigger and better things. Already things are great happening. What state was it? I think it was Georgia, maybe, that all people of color are now getting free health insurance. And in New York, they've passed a law that if you are calling about a racial thing, you can go to jail up to 5 years. So lots of change.
And Josie, you have hope?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're watching our cities getting burnt down right now, and the anger has been brewing for, I think, at least a decade or more. And what I know about this moment, it's this unique opportunity for us to rebuild, because we have forced ourselves to rebuild, and there's no other way out of it except up. We're coming from the ashes, we're building from the ashes, and I believe, in echoing Misty, that it's going to be a unified effort and a conscious effort, as they like to say, a woke effort. And now is when we get to tap into all that creativity and bring it, guys, because we can create whatever world we want.
You know, I have to say, if I do one more shot, I'm definitely not going to be woke. Which propels us to question number 4. I'd swallow that. Now that the world is reopening, I'm ready to see my friends again. Oh dear, I've taken all 4 shots.
Bottoms up.
Aaron, you've been in isolation, and you've been happy to be in isolation, and it's improved your mood. But you have friends you want to see. Did you take the shot? I didn't see it.
Well, I took half a shot because
half a shot.
Yeah, I'm ready. Of course, yeah, because of course I'm ready to see my friends again. But I feel like we are reopening way too soon.
I agree.
Rushing as a nation. We're rushing into this, and we're going to see the second wave. And those of us who are still quarantining will still be in our first wave. You know, it's just, I feel like it's going to be a long.
You plan to stay? You plan to stay in the Aaron bunker?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is, you know. It is what
All
it
right.
is. I'm in my cocoon, ready to rise from the ashes when we're all ready to come back.
You know, to be honest with you, there is nothing you can say, oh my goodness, I'm feeling the shots.
I am too, actually.
There is nothing you can say, Aaron, because the fact that you are less angry is thrown me for such a loop.
That's enough hope, right?
That's all the hope we need. Aaron Phoenix can be less angry. The world is...
And my shots are not even alcoholic, so,
yeah.
you know, that really shows you something.
What?
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well,
Wait,
let's.
it didn't have to be alcohol? That's not fair.
Oh yes, it definitely has to be
Well,
alcohol.
the game's over now, girl.
Am I getting hazed?
Seniority.
Absolutely, that's right.
Yes.
All right, let's move out of our
Hazed.
game and move into some celebrity hot topics. We have a few celebrity hot topics that we want to talk about tonight in the news this week. First off, celebrity hot topic number one. The Matrix. Remember the movie? I love it. Sometimes I think I'm Neo, right? The Matrix was inspired by the rage and oppression of being closeted trans women.
Gag.
Watch this. Interesting.
Every person here, every human life represents a negotiation between public and private identity. As it begins, I start to understand just how complex the relationship between visibility and invisibility has been throughout my life.
Thomas Anderson?
Yeah, that's me.
I was recently out to dinner with a mixture of friends and strangers, and throughout the dinner they repeatedly referred to me as he or one of the Wachowski brothers, unable or perhaps unwilling to see me as I am, but only for the things I do.
It seems that you've been living two lives. In one life, you're Thomas A. Anderson, program writer for a respectable software company. It's not.
I remember the third grade. Early on, I am told to get in line after a morning bell, girls in one line, boys in the other. I walk past the girls, feeling this strange, powerful gravity of association. Yet some part of me knows I have to keep walking. As soon as I look towards the other line, though, I feel a feeling of differentiation that confuses me.
How powerful is that?
Wow.
The Matrix is living two lives. Let's begin our celebrity hot topics this week by talking about this series about Lily Wachowski, explaining how the Matrix was inspired by the rage and oppression of being a closeted trans woman. What do y'all think about Neo is actually a representation of two personalities that is fighting for recognition? What do y'all think?
Luckily for us, Keanu Reeves is very.
Which one of y'all are going to fight it
Go
out first?
Go ahead, Aaron.
All right, I'm going first on this one. I'm jumping in. Keanu Reeves, luckily, is a fierce ally for the trans community. So unlike with the Harry Potter series, we don't have to be disappointed by our heroes. So that's great. I absolutely loved her line talking about in the third grade. I have explained the same moment to people. Misty, I see you shaking, nodding your head. I have explained that moment. For me, it was probably first grade when they said, okay, boys over here and girls over here. And my brain went, what?
You're
What
in
do
the
I
wrong
do?
line.
And yeah, and very that. And I've been hearing you're in the wrong line all the way up through my adult life in bathrooms and locker rooms and drag, shows and clubs. And so it's very symbolic of kind of what it's like just move through the world as a trans person and navigate all these gendered things.
Aaron, I'm curious, before Power's going to jump in a moment, but I'm curious, Aaron, were you enlightened? You referred to J.K. Rowling's tweet over the weekend. Let's come to J.K. Rowling for a moment. Were you far more interesting than J.K. Rowling's tweet was the avalanche against J.K. Rowling's tweet? Were you embraced in the trans community for how many people came to the trans defense of what J.K. Rowling has said?
You know what? I will say something that this past week, my newsfeed has been nothing but white and non-Black people fighting with racists over their racism and cisgender people fighting with cisgender people over their transphobia.
Yeah,
and
that's
we're
great.
seeing some kind of shift happening that's really honestly exciting. It really is. And speaking of that, let me just throw this in there. Let me never hear somebody again say that the trans movement and the movement for Black lives are not inextricably linked. Because when one came to the forefront of the conversation, Black activists grabbed our hand as trans people and said, come on, let's go to the front. We got you.
That is
which is more than the gay
awesome
community could say 50 years ago.
Awesome
So,
observation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For that.
And Power, you were going to say?
Well, I was going to say that if we could take the curtains and pull them back on everything in our pop culture that has been inspired by the struggles, the blood, the sweat, the tears of our LGBT community, it would be an awesome reveal. I mean, to think that this story that has become a pop culture sensation, The Matrix, was born of somebody's struggle and pain and experience. I mean, just think about that. If you step back and think about that, and how many other things, we were just talking about, I think last week we were talking about Diana Ross's song, I'm Coming Out, and how that was inspired and how that was born. How many things do we have in the fabric, woven into the fabric of our society, that really were inspired by the pain and the struggle and the experience of our LGBT community? It's just astounding.
And one of the things out, what we see is entertainment as that bridge to the world that helps us really communicate these very, very deep and very complex issues, topics, social topics. And when you hear this and you hear Lily Wachowski sharing the story and speaking into the duality of life, this makes it accessible. It makes the conversation of trans accessible so that people can start wrapping their head, because everyone can relate to possibly feeling like they've been living double lives. So it's so important, the role that entertainment plays in our society.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Any final thoughts anybody wants to make?
I can relate to this story, obviously, as a trans goddess. I totally...
Wait, you're trans?
Trans goddess.
Really?
Don't tell anybody. It's just I don't want anybody to know. But yes, I can relate on multiple levels. And what's funny to me is I am definitely a fan of the Matrix series, and I did not know this. But it's funny because I watch mini movies. I'm like, that was a story about transgender. Even Moana, like the ocean was calling her and her family said no and be strong and be manly and be masculine. And the ocean was calling her, and then her grandmother, like many stories. I've been like, oh, that was like I see it through transgender lenses. And this story, completely caught off guard. Not a clue.
Excellent.
Yeah. Wasn't The Little Mermaid as well?
Yes.
The Little Mermaid. Yeah,
yep.
Inspired as well.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so many stories in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. I want to move out of this celebrity topic and move into our second celebrity hot topic that we want to talk about tonight, and that is Brat. Brat has come out as bisexual in March, and it's starting to resonate in the news. The first female rapper to go platinum. She recently made a statement that coming out earlier would have killed her career. She could not be a platinum-selling artist if she would have come out. Has our culture changed enough for outperformers to be successful? And that's what we pose in our question tonight about Brat. In an area that is not traditionally LGBT, have we come far enough? When we think we've arrived and LGBT is completely accepted, Brat brings us to reality that she feels we haven't come far enough. What do y'all think?
I mean, I think the reality is the reality. The reality is the reality. It's true. From the generation she, started, and where she started doing music, the hip hop community has definitely progressed leaps and bounds. There's no doubt about that. The facts, the proof is in the pudding, as they like to say. We're seeing more openness in the music industry right now, but back then it would have been definitely a risk for her to take. And I hear her, and it makes me sad, actually, but I'm glad that she's here now and that she can be living an authentic self, and I hope it inspires other young artists to do the same.
Before we continue, hold on just one sec. Before we continue, I want to show you a little bit of sound on Brat that we prepared for you. Watch this.
Is it working now? Is it working now?
What is that?
No fucking, no, oh my God. No fucking, what? No fucking. Oh, Annette. You sure? No fucking. Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here.
That's right, Elena's no
Yeah.
about station your head.
I'm looking real ugly and.
Don't you love that? Who's going to tell Brat we knew since 1954? I love that statement. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but I wanted to put her in front. Somebody else was going to say.
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question to the rest of to my fellow co-hosts. So, do you guys think that even as far as we've come, and we have come very far, and yes, we still have miles to go before we sleep, but do you guys think that it is still easier for a female rapper in the game to come out as bisexual or gay than a male?
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine the headlines around the world if Eminem said he was bisexual?
Girl.
Not even gay, bisexual.
He might sell more albums.
Tomorrow,
honestly.
it would lead every news outlet on the planet. That's an indication.
Absolutely.
I do think that we've come forward, but she also came out as bisexual. She didn't come out as lesbian.
Right.
I was bisexual for 4 years before I came out.
Right. Ditto.
I said I was bisexual. I said I was bisexual too, Chad.
Really having this conversation again.
We're all bisexual. What are you talking about?
Aaron, I missed what you said. Aaron, say that again.
I said, are we really having this conversation again, y'all? About
Yeah, exactly, Aaron.
It's definitely a real thing.
Keep us honest, Aaron. Okay.
I have to say, I always love Aaron Phoenix's participation in It's Happening Out, because no matter how far I progress, Aaron grabs me by the collar and says, "Come back here, boy. Sit right down."
Let me
here."
clarify, though. I
Thank
do
you.
believe
I
bisexuals
tried,
are
right.
real, and it is a thing. I'm just saying.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your
Yeah.
validation and support.
I feel like Brat is still just taking baby steps. I think, honestly, we've all known. I knew as a little boy. When she came, I was like, wait, this hasn't happened already? So I just think, honestly, it's more her own insecurities. And when coming out of the closet, one of the things is you have to be comfortable to make that step forward. No one can do that for you.
Right.
And I honestly think, Brat, baby, we just been waiting on you, girl. We have just been waiting and welcome.
Exactly.
There was definitely like a bit of a Mandela effect there. Like, are you sure she didn't already do this in 1996? But at the same time, there's something to be said for. It's one thing for everybody to know. It's another thing to own it and to say it and to live in your truth and to speak it out loud.
Yeah.
So good for her. That's still important.
That's right. Debrat loudly declares, "I shoulda, I coulda, and I woulda." All right, let's move on out of our celebrity hot topics. First off, we want to tell you we thank the Best Western I-95. They're our hotel accommodation host. When you're ready to come to South Florida, the Best Western is a great location for you for Wilton Manors here in Fort Lauderdale, and we encourage you to check them out. And also, we remind you we're broadcasting from our permanent set in the middle of the World AIDS Museum and Education Center. This is hallowed ground for the LGBT community. We're right in the heart of Wilton Drive, Wilton Manors, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We frequently say, and all you need to do is look at all of these spaces that are surrounding me right now, this is the gayest place on planet Earth. We also think our I'm sorry, I missed that.
He said you couldn't tell by my face.
Yeah. Child. Somebody should have told him in 1994. And we also think we also thank Concepto Modern Living for the creation of our set here in the middle of this museum. Let's move on. And something that is always fun, and it's happening out, our production team, they're kind of nerdish. They pay attention to things that are going on in the world, or at least they think they are interesting. And we call this next segment the best thing of the week. So we're going to show you what production here at It's Happening Out says is the best thing of the week, and we judge them viciously. This week, the best thing of the week is called, Did She Stutter? Watch this.
So I must not have said it clearly enough for you the first time, so please listen up. You cannot be a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement and be homophobic. It's point blank, period. The Black Lives Matter movement was made for all black lives. So therefore, you cannot say that you support all black lives, but not the gay ones, not the trans ones, not the bi ones, not the pansexual ones. That's not how this works. So say it with your fucking chest. Say that you are a bigot and say, I only support lives if they are cis and straight. And baby girl, I would not be screaming to the rooftops that you're homophobic. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing and it makes you look stupid and idiotic. So I said what the fuck I said. You cannot be a supporter of Black Lives Matter and be homophobic. I will not say it again. I'm pretty sure I made myself fucking clear.
Amen.
Well, first off, when the fuck did Power Infinity take his makeup off and do that TikTok? Oh my goodness.
I know they're like related. I think that's your like long lost sister, girl.
Yeah.
Baby, the only thing that video was
is
missing.
a bitch out of my own heart.
Yeah, the only thing that was missing was period at the end.
Period.
She did that.
Period.
Oh my god.
I know.
I think I got excited there.
I
was
want to
like,
break
what's your
into
number?
Hercules.
Don't worry, my wife will be into it.
Bitch, she turned it like a rotisserie chicken.
Wow, you know, it's
Yes.
funny.
Beautiful.
A privileged white guy in
Powerful.
this cast, privileged white guy. My goodness, am I proud of your words and voice, and most importantly,
Wow.
the tone of your message. Good for you.
That part.
Thank
Definitely.
You should be
Congratulations,
able to
David Hopkins, and production. Best thing.
We should
of
invite her
the
on,
week.
guys.
Exactly. My goodness.
Everything.
I'm inviting her to join my house, honey.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is she? Where is she? And
Yeah.
how do we
Exactly
get
right.
more?
Bring her in.
Find out. Exactly. All right, let's move on out of best thing of the week and move to what we call what's on your mind. Now, Dwight, we're getting ready to ask you. You're going to tell us, and each host is going to tell us in approximately 30 seconds what is important to them this week. It's what's on your mind. You tell us what's important to you, and America wants to hear about it. And Dwight, let's start with you. Dwight Allen O'Neal, shoulda, coulda, woulda, boy. What's on your mind
This
tonight?
week, honestly, this week it's important for me that we send out love. I think love heals all. One thing for me that I always remember is Mother Teresa would never go to like an anti-rally. It would always be some type of pro something. So I'm all about pro love this week. Love is going to heal everything. So I wake up every morning giving gratitude and just sending love out to the world. So love is important to me this week.
Can I piggyback on your observation? Pulse, Survivor.
Friday.
I wasn't at Pulse, but so close to the story. So many people said, why does the love wins messaging? Why is that important? The reason is because it's the only way to get out of hurt.
Yeah.
So Dwight Allen O'Neal just told us why. Aaron Phoenix, tell us what's on your mind this week.
Probably along a similar vein. I've been thinking this week a lot about the ways that we bully ourselves, especially when we've been, here in quarantine or even not, even if we're back into the swing of things. We can be our own worst enemies and our own harshest critics. And sometimes we bully ourselves without even realizing it. I've realized that I let myself get dehydrated, for example, or really disorganized. And these are things that affect me and just make things more difficult for me later. So let's try to be mindful of the ways we might be bullying ourselves without realizing it and just making things more difficult for us.
That's great. I love that. And Power Infinity, tell us what's on your mind this week.
Well, several Trump administration officials have denied the very existence of systemic racism. We have seen people from Attorney General William Barr to Ben Carson with his old tap dancing ass, and just many other officials just come out and say that there is not any such thing as systemic racism. And I want to implore all our viewers, this is why it's important to vote. Because you cannot address racism if you can't even agree on the problem itself.
Mm-hmm.
Agree on the definition
Yes.
of terms before you have conversation. That's a legal principle 101. Great observation. And Chef Josie, tell us what's on your mind this week.
You know, guys, I have to share this with you because I'm so excited. You know, this opportunity that, and really having the courage to run for mayor of my town is something that forced me to step out of my comfort zone. I don't have to run for mayor, but I'm choosing to run for mayor because I understand our responsibility and my responsibility as a steward of this earth and of this planet to continue being the light and being the torch. You know, you hear power talk about, you know, voting. Yes, now is the time. We must vote leaders into office who are going to be the voices for the people. And today I qualified officially. So I am so excited because now it's time to get cooking.
Yes.
America, let me clue you in.
Congratulations.
And absolutely, congratulations. Let me clue you in on something behind the scenes. Josie qualified today, and it becomes official. But an interesting thing for me beyond that, okay, fine. It's the paperwork, it's the legality of it. But imagine Mitch McConnell running for Senate or Donald Trump running for president. I very much imagine that they didn't have the experience that I had today, where Josie FaceTimes me, and when I answer the FaceTime, Josie is beaming and screaming, "It's official, it's official, it's official." She's proud to run for public office. That's exactly what we don't have in Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. A great moment. And finally, what's on your mind, Misty Eyez?
My mind. So in the past week, like the rest of my co-panelists or co-hosts, has been full of hatred and anger and surprising posts of people that I had no idea that I was close to that were extremely racist and completely closed-minded. It's shocking to me how many LGBTQ people are not only racist, but Trump supporters. I don't care if you're Republican all day long. I don't. But I don't know how an LGBTQ person could be a Trump supporter. That blows my mind. I've been personally attacked and called some names in the last week or two because I am pro Black Lives Matter. I'm also pro all Black Lives Matter. I'm pro Black Trans Lives Matter. I'm pro LGBTQ Lives Matter. And as of yesterday and today, I've been moving my post forward in more optimistic view. And today, on the way here, I saw a post on Oakland Park that said, if you worry about what other people think of you, you're letting them control your life. And that, like, light bulb in my head. Like, I'm just changing the way I think.
Some great thoughts this week on what's on your mind. We do this every week, and tune in, and I really look forward to hearing what our hosts say of what's on their mind. Tonight, let's move on. It's Happening Out explores our hot topics this week that we want to discuss. And the first hot topic that we want to discuss is Pride. Did you know that June is LGBT Pride Month? You might not know because it's kind of quiet and silent this year. But we want to celebrate Pride through the decades. So while there are no parades or parties or festivals, we want to show you a brief history of the major events that came before this June of 2020. So as a result, It's Happening Out has prepared this. Watch this.
CBS News commissioned a survey by the Opinion Research Corporation into public attitudes toward homosexuality. We discovered that Americans consider homosexuality more harmful to society than adultery, abortion, or prostitution.
As political parades go, it was a little unusual. Harvey Milk on his way to City Hall to be sworn in as a supervisor in San Francisco.
and our national interest in resolving an issue that has divided our military and our nation and diverted our attention from other matters.
Once again, a second bomb discovered after the first one goes off. It happened outside a lesbian club called The Other Side.
We are not a nation that says, don't ask, don't tell. We are a nation that says, out of many, we are one.
Production did an outstanding job here to celebrate our tribute to June LGBT Pride Month. I want to bring, before we move into the conversation about Pride Month and education, the beginning of that video. Probably most do not realize that was Mike Wallace, the anchor, the legendary anchor of 60 Minutes in the 1960s, where he begins the report by saying, most Americans believe homosexuality is more harmful to society than abortion or prostitution. If we need any standard to show how far we've come, Mike Wallace voiced it prior to the Stonewall riots. So June is LGBTQ Pride Month, of course, but this month is no parties, no festivals, and definitely no parades. Many members of our LGBTQ community are unfamiliar with these major points in our history that you just saw. So we asked the question, it is happening out, what can we do to help educate others? Why is Pride important for June, even as quiet as this month in the 51st anniversary of Stonewall? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I told a story a few weeks ago talking about my 12-year-old at home. My partner and I are co-parenting his son. And I had said that Luke is growing up in a time where it doesn't seem to him that there's anything wrong with being gay. And that it's just normal, it's just another thing, you know, character in his Disney movies are gay, big deal. But I misspoke a little. And I was a little too optimistic, I think, in the way I relayed that, because even though that may be the case when it comes to pop culture and things, at the same time, Luke has not been ready to come out to his friends yet about his father and me, and refers to me as their roommate. And if he really was growing up in a time where being gay was so okay, he wouldn't have to face that struggle, and he wouldn't have to feel like he has to be in the closet about that. So this was emotional to watch. We've come so far. You asked Al before, have we come far enough? We've come far, but no, not far enough. You know, things are better, but we've got a long way to go.
Other thoughts?
You know, our responsibility as an LGBTQ entertainment production house, these programmings that we're producing here, these conversations that I'm a part of, these videos that we're seeing, you know, it's so important right now if we're going to be quarantined that we celebrate by educating ourselves. And these types of videos, this type of programming, this is where you guys are going to be able to reconnect with our history. And we always have the conversation about young people and how they learn about the struggle and how they learn about the progress of our community. Well, this is how we do it. And maybe this is just perfect that we're in the middle of a pandemic because we can't distract ourselves with rainbow flags and parties, but we can actually reconnect to the reason why we fight.
I love
Yeah,
that. I know for my following, particularly, I'm encouraging them to read. I'm actually highlighting a different author on my social media platform of LGBTQ so that people can actually explore other authors and really connect. And I'm encouraging people to have pride within your homes, within your personal space, and utilize this month of 2020 to connect with the community and learn about the community in a bigger way. So, yeah.
I think that a lot of people, especially given, and let's tie it into what's going on now, especially given what's going on now with this worldwide movement, a lot of people in our gay community have really gotten an education that was, that they didn't intend to have. Because you see so many people, downing the protests and the riots and the this and the that. Little did they know that our freedoms that we so now enjoy were born on the backs of Black and brown and trans and lesbian, forefathers in our gay community that fought those wars and that threw those bricks at Stonewall. I find it interesting that last year, everybody was up in New York partying their asses off, having a good time, partying and celebrating 50 years of Stonewall. Now you find out that a lot of those people did not even realize what Stonewall was. And you can tell by their postings and by their social media feeds. They didn't have a clue what Stonewall was because they speak about a movement now that they don't realize was a similar type of movement that helped us in the gay community achieve the achievements and the progresses that we see. So you can't be partying at Pride and not really appreciate the struggle that got you there.
Misty, any last thoughts?
Power, what was your quote about our diversity and our unity? Our diversity makes us stronger, and our unity
makes us strong, and our unity gives us power.
That's it. That quote has resounded with me for the last 2 weeks. Our diversity gives us power, and our unity makes us stronger. And that's what we have to remember during this entire month. It's all LGBTQ lives matter, all Black lives matter, and we are one human family, and we are hurting as a population. We can't heal one part of our body without healing the rest of our body. And that's really what I've been focusing on for June.
You know, it's interesting to me. There is a dramatic irony at play going on here. We're in the midst of June LGBT Pride Month. People are trying to find all the major media in the world that rarely says anything. People magazine rarely says anything, but is trying to do a special. There's irony here that in 2019, the largest LGBT celebration in the history of the planet takes place. And 1 year later, the quietest LGBT celebration in the history of the planet takes place. It allows us to learn. We just showed you why. It's a reminder to people that do not know. If you do not know, for God's sakes, it's time for you to learn. It is not about a party or a parade. Stonewall was born on the backs of principally police violence that was stood up to by drag queens and trans individuals. I was going to say transsexuals, trans people in 1969. And for God's sakes, if you think everything is great in our community, I remind you that the LGBT community was propelled in what you just watched in that video on a road that was paved by blood. And we showed you 2 of them. You don't likely remember Matthew Shepard. And you might have heard his name, but that is Harvey Milk. It was blood that paved our way, along with drag queens and trans people. Mm-hmm. So this month is irony in terms of how we move forward. I encourage you, exactly what Dwight is doing, read. You need to read, because it is not a month of parties and parades. We love them. I love them. But in the COVID world we're living in, we have an opportunity to elevate ourselves even farther. Rewatch this video package that we did and read about why the LGBT movement
I think
is
there's
so
really
important.
something kind of poetic too, Al, if I can just say real quick, that, like you said, last year was our loudest, biggest, most boisterous celebration yet. This year, we are taking a bit of a backseat to the movement for Black lives as they come front and center. And I think it is not ironic. I think it's very symbolic that it's our turn as a gay community in general and as non-Black allies to sit and listen this year. Be quiet for a moment, and rather than wave our flags, listen to the people who brought us here.
Yeah, that's a very interesting observation.
But it's also an opportunity to support each other, though. Like, for sure. Like, I've noticed a lot of Black prides. A lot of pride celebrations, like Indiana, for instance, Indianapolis. They're actually getting behind the Black movement for pride. Yep. And so stepping up in that support is beautiful. And I love you said, Reed. I mean, pride is fundamental, you know? So I think that together we can definitely create a difference. So.
One last thought before we move to our other headline that we want to talk about tonight is a reminder for those that do not know. I love the phrasing that the Stonewall riots were the first Pride. They were the first Pride parade, and I think that that is a beautiful sentiment. Let's move into a second headline that we want to discuss tonight, and it's a lot lighter than our first one, and that is Lady G. Have you heard about Lady G? Ladybugs, Mickey Mouse? Well,
a lot lighter was one way to put that.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, the hot topic here is that our very anti-LGBT senator from the great state of South Carolina, Donald Trump's best friend, used to be John McCain's best friend, but we don't know what happened, has been outed as gay. Now, these are all alleged, but he's been outed as gay by escorts that he hired under the name Lady G. Sex workers have already been demonized for coming out. And we talk about tonight, is it okay for them to out their clients, which is what these sex workers have done? And what do you think about the circumstances of what we're watching from the honorable senator from South Carolina?
Guys, listen, there's no victims in this situation, okay? Let's not pretend. If you're engaging with a sex worker, first off, the sex worker, they have the liberty to also do whatever they want. If you're a senator who's engaging with a sex worker, that was a choice you made. This whole idea that's floating around that there's an NDA on all the sex workers, please, girl, what fantasy world are you living in? Add that to the Lady G fantasy you're living. Give me a break. And the fact that we want to, demonize the sex workers, listen, everyone is making a living out here in this life, okay? And we need to be worried more about our own lives and worried about how we're showing up as a contribution in this world than worrying about how someone else is making the money.
First of all, I think go ahead, Power.
I think that the bigger question is, should somebody be outed? Should the sex workers be outing their clients? My answer to that is, I don't think so. I don't think that they should be. However, that being said, on a normal basis, that being said, I think that there is an exception to the rule. When you have somebody that is basically a henchman for a president that is so anti-LGBT, somebody that is working against his own, basically defending and masquerading to be one thing, while demonizing, persecuting, and oppressing a community of people that he actually belongs to. And make no mistake, the fact that these, Al said alleged my ass. We already knew. We already knew that Miss Ladybug, Miss Lady G was cunt. So this is really no news to us in the LGBT community. This might be news to to folks who don't know, and this is just confirmation of what we already know. So I don't feel that it is wrong to out somebody that is.
I'm curious to all of you. I'm curious to all of you. Does it surprise you that there has been almost no mainstream media discussion on this subject? There's been almost
no, it does not.
Yeah.
No, it
No,
does
not
not.
really.
No, because you know why they.
I'm quite sure that the media wants to get the story right before they put it out.
Exactly.
And right now,
this is too. Yeah, this is too explosive of a story for them to come out and make a mistake, you know? They
That's
can't be
right.
making false accusations without verifiable evidence, you know? I mean, they have to be able to do that.
The multiples of the gay escorts live right here in Wilton Manors. All they have to do is come into town and they would be happy to talk to them.
Well, girl, you know, this is the studio. We're here at the World AIDS Museum. If you need to come out and feel free, here's a platform.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear. Just because the media has not come out and made a headline topic out of this does not mean that they are not chasing down this story. Josie said, they are trying to get it right. They need to get it right because this is too explosive a story. And I know that I have friends in media outlets that I have been talking to, you know, and emailing and texting, and we're gossiping about it. So they know really need to get lined up.
Wait, that gives me the opportunity. Let's focus on this. Quick flash poll. Let's have a flash poll among the guests. Let's focus on the gossip of this because right now it is gossip and I want to make sure it's clear. We're accepting this conversation as gossip because there is no hard proof yet.
It's gossip because of a disclosure agreement.
Yes. Well, yes. But I'm curious. Let's do a quick poll. Do you believe that this story is true?
Yes.
Josie?
Yes.
You do. Misty?
Yes.
Dwight, do you believe the story is true?
Absolutely. Where's my shot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Power, do you believe the story is true?
Is a pig's pussy pork?
And Aaron, do you believe the story is true?
Fundamentally, yes.
Okay. So interesting here in our quick flash poll, everyone feels exactly the same. It's all gossip, but we all have a gut feeling of where this story is going to go. Now, it'll be interesting to watch to see where this story is going to go. Let's move out of this headline topic and move into Saved by the Bell. And let's do some news for today. And Saved by the Bell is a lightning round of LGBTQ topics in the news this week and other headlines from an LGBT perspective. We're going to do 60 to 90 seconds on each topic, and if we end our time, you're going to hear this, and I'm going to ring the bell. Dwight, since this is the first time that you've guest hosted on It's Happening Out, can I just point out to you that if you have anything to say, you better fight for your life because you're getting ready to be eaten by the sharks.
Go first.
Understand?
Understood. I just took my earrings off. I'm ready.
That's right. And your hair. Take your hair off too. All right.
I love it.
That's exactly it. All right.
All right,
I gave you fair warning. Don't you tell me after the show I didn't get a chance to talk. Hello. You're sitting next to and sitting next to and sitting next to. All right. Here we go. Saved by the Bell. Topic number one. Story number one this week. 16-year-old Stephen Perez leads a march in Detroit. And let me set this up before we do the timing. He did a live interview with an NBC affiliate on a main street in Detroit, organizing people in a peaceful protest, and then spoke about what his goal was. His words were so inspirational that the mayor of Detroit called into the reporter's cell phone live and talked to Perez, saying, I have tears in my eyes of a reflection of what a great representation of Detroit and America Stephen was. What do y'all think about our marching and having young 16-year-olds be able to lead it?
This is exactly what we want to see.
This story is beautiful. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly, this is exactly what we want to see. You know, young leaders stepping into this place. It's answering a calling. The young generation, guys. This is your world. You're going to be inheriting by all of us who are either making a mess of it or creating a world to pass off to you. You're the ones who will be handed the torch. You'll be handed the baton. So yes, I applaud that young 16-year-old. This is what we're talking about.
All right, before all the oxygen gets going.
Gen Z is the reason why I still have that painful amount of unrelenting hope, because you know when I ran the trans youth group over here, that was the one of the biggest, most influential things in my life that opened my eyes to there's always still a reason to hold on to hope, because the next generation is going to get it better than we have. And this young man is a perfect example of it. It's awesome to see.
That is at the end of topic 1, and I can smell Power's disappointment all the way down here in South Florida. Topic number 2 in Saved by the Bell. Did you hear? Scruff and Jacked have joined Grindr in removing racial filters. What do y'all think?
What took so long? Oh my God. I'm like, seriously, this should have been done a long time ago. And I get so upset with people saying they're hiding behind preferences. No, it's racism. And if we didn't have the week that we had last week, this would have not taken place.
Dwight, so quickly, I'm curious. Do you feel the same way about no fats, no femmes, no Asians?
Absolutely. I feel the same way. It's not preference. It's racism. You are a racist ass, and you need to get it together. Like, it's wrong. So, about damn time.
I'm sorry, what did you say,
I don't know
Power?
if I'm really excited about...
That was Dwight.
I know.
I don't know if I'm really excited about this, because I feel like this is going to give people an excuse to pull the whole, oh, I don't see color thing, and to just kind of dismiss their responsibility in addressing their shit and addressing their racism that causes them to have these preferences. I don't know. Maybe I got to know more about it, but it seems a little all lives mattery to me, and I don't know if I trust it fully.
Anything else? I'm going to a few more seconds. Oh. All right, we're done. We move to story number 3. Pixar's groundbreaking gay short film, Out, we have learned is based on a true story of the story writer. What, if you're not familiar with it, Pixar has created the first lead gay character story in Pixar's history.
I haven't seen Out yet, but I'm just hearing some great reviews. I don't have Disney Plus. I have every single subscription except Disney Plus.
You gotta get it. It's great.
I know, and I love Disney, so I don't know. My wife is a Disney princess. I don't understand how this is happening. But
I'll give you my login, girl. Don't worry.
Okay, good deal, girl. So this is what I'm saying, though. You know, this is what I'm saying. How entertainment is really helping to bridge these conversations about gay, about trans, about black, about, you know, just everything. And that's why entertainment is so important.
I didn't know this was based on a true story for the writer, but when I watched it, it's definitely a true story on the coming out process and hiding your boyfriend from your parents and not wanting to tell them. The part about switching roles with the dog, is that based on a true story? Because that seems a little more fancy.
Like a little puppy play.
Sorry, there's the bell. Sorry.
I had a dream about it.
We're moving on to story number 4. J.K. Rowling set the internet on fire over the weekend. It's been going on for weeks, but she sets the world on fire with her anti-trans tweet rants. What do y'all think? J.K. Rowling.
Joanne, we do not have time for this. Have you looked outside? Like, the world is burning. We really do not have time for your bullshit. The trans community officially rejects your bullshit. No, just no. Just no.
Yes.
Just no.
Take her phone. Like, seriously, she needs to
I don't do her. I don't know her.
Because it's ridiculous. Like, she needs to shut up. She needs to sit down.
She looked outside and was like, oh, there's a pandemic and riots happening. But I noticed we're not talking about me, though.
Right. And also, I have to point out, the woman is worth $1 billion. She can't afford a friend that could go, girl, I got to help you understand trans.
Edit.
Right. Call me, girl.
Yeah, no, she
call
made
me, honey. You shoulda, coulda, woulda, shut up. No, I call me. Like, she needs to stop.
And her tweets all start
made
with,
that decision.
"I love trans people, but," it's like the Black Lives Matter racist. I'm not racist, but
yeah, that's a really good
Yeah,
point.
you gotta love when the racist butt shows up. They really always make the conversation better.
All right, let's move on to story number 5 in the headlines this week. Donald Trump continues his embracement of being the greatest LGBT-friendly president in history by banning gay pride flags in the month of June in embassies everywhere in the world.
he's such an ally for our community.
Yeah. What do y'all
Listen,
think?
someone needs to get President Trump's medication right, okay? Because this is what's happening, you know? Disassociation delusion, all right, these are signs, guys. I mean, who is around him who's allowing him to just continue this craziness? Come on, guys.
Well, I don't think that anybody could stop his craziness, because this is rooted inside him. He is a bigot. He is a racist. He is somebody that is just prejudiced and bigoted at his core. That's who he is. And, you know, we have people, including former hosts of this show, that continue no matter what he does. I mean, he could line us up and put us all in concentration camps, and you'll still have people that will say he's pro-LGBT. He's not pro-LGBT. He does not like us. He doesn't see us. He doesn't feature us. Period.
Wait. That's
He
breaking
doesn't like
news.
anyone but himself.
Who's the
That's
former
breaking
host?
news.
But himself.
Is it possible to get Power Infinity in a concentration camp? Can we put?
Oh, I
him
don't
in one?
think so.
Is that?
I don't think so.
No, bitch.
All right.
No.
Oh, by the way,
He'd go down with a fight.
I would get these African feet to run, bitch. You won't catch me.
just as a reference on his announcement of the reiteration of no gay pride flags, it was specifically focused on not having a gay pride flag, a rainbow flag, fly in Russia, in Saudi Arabia, and Brazil. Come on, it's like the Gang of Four.
No.
All right, we move on to topic number 6, and that is employee who was fired after being told he sounded, quote unquote, too gay, reaches a undisclosed settlement, but it's likely a lot of money with Goldman Sachs. What do y'all think?
Lucky bitch.
My thoughts exactly, Power.
Girl, is it even possible to be too gay? First of all.
Apparently it is the Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
That was. What
Damn.
was he doing specific? When I read that, I was so surprised because I have friends that work at Goldman Sachs. And
It was
very gay,
mostly
so-
in talk. He sounded gay.
Yep.
And,
that was an interesting story.
and in
Show
banking,
me the money.
Investment banking, he didn't fit the cookie profile that they.
I think he should open up his own firm.
LGBTQ money.
Yeah.
Totally.
Work it.
My question is, how did he get fired for sounding too gay? If he sounded that gay, how did he get hired in the first place?
Well,
Right. This story has whole. I feel like it's probably a boss situation, and because the boss worked for Goldman and Sachs, because
Yeah.
I have friends that are super gay that works there as well. That's why when I heard this, I was like, really? And I actually called them. I'm like, girl, what's the tea?
Yeah.
Like,
Interesting, Michael.
think it's
Or
a
I'm
bad
sorry.
apple situation.
Interesting that Dwight says that, because this is the first time that I've met Dwight Allen O'Neal, and I can assure you, Dwight, you're probably not going to work at Goldman Sachs. I can pretty much.
Darn it!
He just said he's
Darn
really
it!
gay.
All right, we're done. Let's move. Yeah, I just called him very gay sounding. All right, story number 7.
We can't see you.
Iowa police bust a gay bar for providing, oh, wait, is it guns? Is it? No, it's water and medical supplies during a Black Lives Matters protest. All right, Des Moines, go. It's
Here we
Iowa.
go again, child. Here we go again, child, with another example of why the police have the reputation that they have, why the police have garnered the mistrust that they have. I mean, this is just awful. And I know that this is probably just, an example of the bad apple. But, like I said recently, would any one of us be willing to go under the knife of a hospital that employed a few bad apples as doctors? No. So, too many bad apples ruin the motherfucking bunch.
Yeah.
Right.
Ring the bell, Al.
All right, I do as I'm
That was only
commanded.
44 seconds.
That's right. All right, so that is Saved by the Bell. This week we do this every week in review of some of the most interesting of the LGBTQ stories of the week. Let's play another game now, and let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. Now, everyone knows how we do this. We try to. One of the most exciting things in this game is to figure out in advance who Aaron is going to have angry sex with.
I like angry
But
sex.
Aaron's not angry anymore. So.
Right? All right.
Trust me, girl, that's temporary. I
That's right. It's a new twist. All right. So the game asks our host who and why and what. Everybody knows what I mean there.
Yeah.
And we are going to show you 3 different people. And so let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. And in honor of June's LGBTQ Pride Month, let's do hotties from LGBTQ movies. It's LGBT Pride Month. It seems appropriate. So let's celebrate with hotties. And that is... as you can see, JP Pitoc, Andre Holland, and Guy Pearce, Priscilla, Priscilla. Who wants to start? Who wants to shag? Dwight, let's start with you so you're not poisoned by any of these. Tell us first who you would shag. You know what shag means, Dwight?
I do know what shag means. I am a cultured girl. I would shag JP. I remember being a kid sneaking and watching that movie, and I thought he was just so hot. So JP would totally get shagged. I would marry Andre, and then I would chop Guy.
Why would you chop Guy Pearce?
I just kind of feel like me and Guy would get along more so shopping together and hanging out. Not really
That.
So.
Hilarious.
Wait, just do a classic gay stereotype.
Yes.
All right, and Power, who would you shag? Power, are you with us? All right, Aaron, we're going to move on to you. Who would you shag?
All right, I guess it's Josie.
Tell us who you would shag.
So I'm thinking I'm shagging Andre, just so we're clear. I like my black and brown boys. We're doing the shagging, you know what I mean? And I'm going to marry Guy because him and I would have so much fun just being silly and crazy and catty and just fun. And he would
Sarcastic.
Oh he would
gosh.
just bring that out of me. And then I'd have to chop JP even though he's really cute.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we differ today because normally Josie and I are like the 2 peas in a pod. I am shagging Andre, so I thought we were on the same page for a second.
All right.
And I am marrying JP. Oh, just yum. Yes, I will admit to having a crush on Guy Pearce when I was very young and didn't even know what drag was until this show. But now that I realize I just wanted to be her, I didn't want to be with her.
Did you watch Priscilla when it came out?
Yes.
When it came out.
It was a secret DVD, not DVD, it was a VHS tape hidden under my bed where no one could find it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, Power, you're back with us. That's interesting because Guy on the bus when they lifted the box and him there with the, oh my God.
It was gorgeous.
Jeez.
I don't want to marry her.
Does it reveal too much that I've played that scene in my head about 100 times in my life?
But did you want to be her, Al? That's
Exactly.
the question.
Power, who would
No
you?
judgment, Al.
Who would you shag, Power?
I would shag JP.
You're going to tell us why?
Well, because he's hot. He's very my type, very my speed.
Yeah. In other words, he's male. He's your type. He's male.
He's ripped. He's tall. He's long. He's luxurious.
How do you know?
Look at his torso.
Researcher.
His torso. I'm sorry.
He's tall.
Yeah,
She meant
look at
tall.
Tall. Okay. And who are you going to marry?
I'm going to marry my all-time lifelong crush, Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
I live for him. I have always lived for him. His body is banging. He has the sexiest legs, and he looked good then. He looks good now. He looks good always.
Do you know,
and
Power, how old do you think Guy Pearce is?
I wouldn't give a damn if he was 125.
Yeah, he's 54.
It still doesn't.
All right.
And he looks good. He does.
He still turns it.
He does.
And as for the other child, it's a preference. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
That wouldn't
and
be
Aaron,
okay on Grindr.
Tell us who you're having angry sex with or not so angry sex with.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna shag Guy Pearce, because he looks like he's got an attitude, little bit of edge of toxic masculinity hidden underneath all that drag femininity, and yeah, that's gonna be a good night. But that's about as much of that as I can take.
Yeah.
So I'm going to marry the boy from Moonlight, because I don't even have to say why. Look at him.
Yeah.
And also because that movie won and what is it? An Emmy or whatever the big
Academy Award.
movie award is. That's the one. Academy Award, Oscar. And I'm gonna have
the
to.
child can march on Washington, but doesn't know the Oscars. Come on.
Listen, I'm doing the best I can here. Okay?
And tell us why you would chop.
He looks boring to me, and he's more powers type anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's enough for reason to chop him. So that's our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. We end our show tonight at It's Happening Out with our sponsor, Jet's Pizza. We're getting ready to have some pizza. Oh, I need to hold it up. It's great. When you come into South Florida, Detroit-style pizza, it's really excellent, and we thank Jets for their sponsorship of It's Happening Out. Before we end the show, we give all of our hosts the opportunity to say goodnight. And let's start in exile. Aaron, we'll start with you. Aaron Phoenix.
Well, good night, gender fuckers. And everybody's still trying to figure those gender fuckers out. And keep up the conversation. You know, you've got to focus on the progress that we can make and the hope that we all have for where we're going. Not only where we've come from, but where we can look ahead to. So keep tuning in with us and keep the conversation moving on It's Happening Out.
Excellent. And our host, Power Infinity.
Good night, children. Just keep in mind that as we traverse through these troublous times, that we're in this together. And conversations like this are very, very important. So let's just keep focused. We have 5 months till Election Day. So let's just keep the conversation going every single week right here on It's Happening Out.
And our guest host tonight, Dwight Allen O'Neal, his new book, Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda. Dwight, how do we get your book, and how do we follow you and keep up with you?
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for having me again. You can get my book exclusively on Amazon for the next 3 months. And then it'll be everywhere. You can follow me at O'Neal Appeal. My website is o'nealappeal.com. All of my social media is O'Neal Appeal, like sex appeal, O'Neal Appeal. And again, thank you for having me. Good night, everyone. Remember to lead with love, create your greatness, and don't sit around having a whole bunch of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Go out there and live your best life.
That's absolutely true. And my friend Misty Eyez.
More the same. Respect yourself, protect yourself. Remember that we are hurting as a world, but we are also in the middle of a pandemic. You don't have to go out there and embrace your friends just yet. And if you do, make sure to wear a mask and make sure they're wearing a mask.
And my friend, mayor candidate in the gayest place on planet Earth, Chef Josie.
Tonight I want to say goodnight to the fire starters. You know who you are. It's not only lighting fires to our cities, but it's lighting fires in the lives of our community and our families during this really challenging time. You guys, you are the torch. Don't ever forget that. And as you know, we'll continue to be the torch here for the LGBTQ community. So stay safe. stay healthy, and stay positive.
And America, we remind you, we thank you very much for tuning in to It's Happening Out. This is the most popular live gay television show in the world. We also thank you for staying with us every night at 7 o'clock at Q News. Q News tonight is the first live LGBT evening news broadcast in the entire world, and the only one. So we're not only first, we're the only one. LGBT is really, really important to us. These are thriving in a time of COVID. Both shows are thriving because we need community, and both represent that. And we hope that you feel that tonight we represent that in the breadth of the topics that we talk about. So come back to us next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And we remind you, if it's important to you, it's important at It's Happening Out. Good night, America.